franchising in a nutshell is just a way to legally scale your business, right? That's really all it is. There's a couple different options to do it. One would be, let's say, licensing. One would be, franchising. One would be like Starbucks is not a franchise. Have like a management structure that's like tiered management throughout the, and there's a bunch of different tiers, right? So it's just one of the options that you have to grow your business, right?
Yeah. Welcome to the Leadership Table podcast. My name is Chad Reyes. I'm so excited to have you with us today. And today I have a dear friend of ours, a phenomenal entrepreneur, someone who my wife Danielle and I highly respect, Brian Lincer. And Brian is he's the managing partner of Internicola law firm. They're a franchise law firm. But what I love about what Brian and Charles do is they're not really just focused on being an attorney. They're focused on being entrepreneurs. They're focused on resourcing entrepreneurs. So I'm so excited to have you, Brian, with us, and looking forward to really sucking out all that wisdom and helping our audience hear all what you guys have to offer over at Internicola.
Awesome, Chad. Yeah, happy to be here. Love you guys. I think
same.
We have these conversations all the time about entrepreneurship, and it's our passion. It's your passion, and I'm happy to do this. It's great.
Yeah. Today we just get to capture our conversations that we normally have, anyways. Right? We get to put it on a video. Exactly. But hey, Brian, so could you share with our audience a little bit about your journey to where you are today? I think it'll be helpful for them to get a little bit of context of how did you wind up becoming a managing partner at one of the most influential franchise law firms in America, and just your journey.
Yeah. So, for me, my father was a business owner, owned a grocery store in Brooklyn. I actually remember years and years ago, I just got my license like 17 years old. My grandfather started the business, and I used to drive my father and my grandfather to their attorney in Manhattan. He was on Broadway.
Yeah.
And I just remember always wanting, I was never in the room, but I always wanted to be in the room. And I was always kind of drawn to that. One of his clients was like Snapple Iced Tea, right? They're a very small business, but the attorney was representing some big clients. So it's something I was always interested in. And so went to Northeastern University, studied criminal justice, wind up, not being sure what I'm going to do. Went right out the day I graduated from Northeastern, started at a law firm in Staten Island, and actually met Charles there. This is going back 1999.
Yeah.
So I met there. He was an attorney already. He's a little older than me. And we started working together. I started clerking for him. And the funny thing is that we used to talk about the practice that we have now in a crazy way.
Yeah.
Where, we wanted to represent a few great brands and, focus on, business and, intellectual property and franchising and stuff like that. So we kind of manifested this 25 years ago. And the crazier thing is we used to talk about like having red bricks in our office. And this is, we're in the conference room with red bricks.
I know. Pretty wild, right?
Yeah. So it's just kind of crazy. So, we took our own paths for years. Eventually in 2012, we launched this law firm. And one of the things that we did, which was critical to where our success essentially of today, is that we, initially started the practice doing pretty much everything, business litigation, real estate, all pretty much a general practice firm. And over the years, we kind of narrowed it down to just representing franchisors.
Yeah.
So today we only represent franchisors. We currently represent 350 brands, more than 350 brands in the franchisor capacity. And, so it's been kind of crazy. We actually, the magazine just came out, Entrepreneur ranked us number one franchise law firm in the country.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's a big accomplishment. Like for us, it means something to our team because that's actually based off of, they asked clients. So 120 people responded, of our clients responded to their survey out of 1,000 people across the country, not all being our clients. And just to get that many people, 120 people, to affirmatively give a positive review, I think that's an accomplishment in itself.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
That makes us proud. That's something. So it's not really the award, but it's kind of what's behind it. And that's the team doing everything in and out.
yeah, you guys have a great team. You really do.
So here we are. I get to speak to you.
Yeah. So I have a question for you. Regarding you had a practice that was more of a generalist practice, and I remember that back in the day. And then I remember you and Charles making decisions to really go deep in a niche. Can you share how transformational that was to really go deep in a niche for your business? Because some businesses, depending on their models, want to go very wide, and then some businesses want to go really deep. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's very scary, right? That's the first thing, right? So the first thing we cut was litigation, right? So it was half our revenue, right? 50% of our revenue is based on billable litigation, and we got to the point where we just said we don't want to do this anymore. It was a very negative thing. Even when we won the cases, which we did pretty often, it was still negative in the fact that the client had to didn't want to pay their bill, right? So even when we won, we lost. The client. Yeah. So it's definitely scary. I think one of the things that you have to keep in mind if someone who's considering it, I would say it's the total game changer. You have to do it. I don't think the generalist practice works anymore, or generalist in anything, really works well anymore. But what it allowed us to do over time is really kind of niche into that industry, and to have that, that narrow group of people that we're speaking with on a daily basis, as opposed to every business owner or every person out there that wants to buy real estate. We got to focus in on our community, and that was such a big game changer for us. So that led to so many different things that we may get into, like FrameCamp, our own software that we created for franchisors specifically. Things like that. So if anyone who's considering it is watching this, I think it's 100%. There's no question about it. You have to do it. And the more narrow, the better, right? It's counterintuitive. It seems like, well, there's only going to be this many people that are potential clients for me, but that is where you'll live. And the end result will be, you'll have a much better result, to be more efficient. And you'll just have it is, a scary, but necessary transition.
Yeah. There's a gentleman that we work with in the accounting space, and he and his business partner focused their entire careers only in accounting firms. That's it. Focusing on adding resources to accounting firms. They don't look outside the accounting industry, similar to you guys and what you've done in the franchise world, right? And he said something. He says, niches bring riches. Yeah. When you build a niche and you go deep, it just you get to dominate in an area. To talk to our listeners a little bit more about how you work through some of that fear, because when you and Charles had to make that decision where you have 50% of your revenue that is literally how you pay your salaries, how you pay your bills, how you pay your mortgage and everything. Just walk us through that, because I think that's helpful, because I think John Maxwell always says this. He talks about sacrifice, and Danielle and I are always making decisions on sacrifice. But I don't think people understand that really to get to the next level, it is always a sacrifice. Can you kind of talk about what your thought process was and how much of a sacrifice that really was?
Yeah, I mean, monetarily, right, very clear, 50% revenue, just like that, gone. So, the big thing for us, it is about having faith and trust in our team. So there was a few of us there, me, Charles, Samantha, Melissa, right, as we were going through this transition, really having faith in everybody on the team that we're going to do this no matter what, right? So that's a big part of it. So confidence, faith, I don't know what we would call it. But it is, and saying we're just, whatever obstacles come our way, we're going to overcome it. And, we'll sacrifice whatever's needed. Right. So, we're staying, I still to this day, stay late and sacrifice. And I think that's part of entrepreneurship and part of the, necessity of entrepreneurship. Right?
Yeah.
You sacrifice to get to the other side, reach certain milestones, and just continue to grow.
Yeah. And and to that point, Brian, I think leaders, the best leaders, understand that everything's a sacrifice. But yeah, when we'll speak at conferences, or I'm talking to some people in communities that maybe we're in, even in our local community, you kind of hear, like, sometimes you hear that they want something without actually having to give up something for it. And they believe that they actually can, like it's mind blowing to me. They actually believe that they can have something in their life without having to give up for it. And I don't know where, I mean, I kind of see what the education system has done over the years, but it's mind blowing to me that someone thinks that they could have a 10-hour-a-week job and they're going to be the most successful person in the world. Like, it's a struggle for me. I'd be real with you.
No, I talk to my kids about it, right? And same thing. I think it's a, everybody's looking for the shortcut. I don't. I think, to me, I want the struggle, because I know what that leads to, right? I think it's like anything else. If you you're working out at the gym and you're not struggling, nothing's happening, right? You need the struggle in order to get to the next level. So bring on the struggle, right? And if you're not struggling, that's a bad sign, right? If you're coasting, even, I don't want to retire ever. I don't ever want to just coast, right? I always want to be building something, moving along, right? And so I think it's also innate in certain people that I don't envision just sitting on a beach and just doing nothing ever.
Brian, I think about it. If you want to retire, like if your whole focus is retirement, then you're probably doing something you don't love. Like, do you ever want to retire from being a parent? Do you ever want to retire from loving your children? No, like, you love your children. You don't retire from the things you love. Well, if you love doing the thing that you're doing every day, why would you really want to retire? Like, I love when Maxwell says this. He goes, just when you can is the time that you can't. Just when you can finally retire because you have more resources than you need is the time when you really can't, because it's your greatest return, it's your greatest fun, it's your greatest enjoyment. You're not giving that up at that moment.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it is fun, right? It's I wake up, and you do need some rest time. You do need days off. You need to go on vacation and check out on a certain occasion. So I'm not saying you should work every day, but I don't mind. I wake up early on a Saturday morning and before everybody wakes up, and I'm, checking, getting my stuff together. I love it. To me, I love what I do. So it's a game to me. It's a complex, hard game, but it's a game.
It's a game. Yeah. You guys, it's like athletes, right? Athletes don't just show up at the stadium. There's a lot of work that goes into that game.
100%. Yeah. There's, behind the scenes work. I mean, constantly, and even just working on myself. Right. When I wake up 4:00 in the morning, I'm a morning person. I love to go to the gym. I do my meditation. I journal. My morning routine is a couple hours in the morning just to get my mindset right, and that's the thing that drives me the rest of the day. So
it's a game. It really is a game changer. So let's talk about this for a moment. 350 clients. Not every one of them are thriving. We all know that. Some of them are thriving. Some of them are just surviving. Some of them are in between. And let's go back to that premise without names. We don't need names, but let's go back to the premise of sacrifice. What do you see the ones that are thriving compared to the ones that are really not thriving or struggling?
That's a great question. If I had to put say one thing, like I could almost pick it up immediately when I speak to someone, right? As soon as they start looking outward, like, the economy's bad, or these franchisees are terrible, or right. I already know that they have a problem, right? It's the ones that say, yeah, we have this obstacle, but we're going to get through it, right? Inward focused. Those are the ones that typically will excel. The ones that are blaming everyone else and everything else. To me, that would be like the number one, a thing goes off in my head when I hear something like that. And I'm like, well, you have the wrong kind of what we were just talking about. Like, you have the wrong mindset.
Yeah.
To begin with. And if you're if you're holding blaming other people for your problems, that means you can't fix them, right? It's economy, it's AI, it's this, it's right. It could be a million other things, but the people that are grinding are up in the morning and figuring it out, or in the office late, and right, and that's the difference, right? I guess
that's good.
It's like grit, right? That's the word.
There's a good book, Grit, by the way. There's a book by the name of Grit. I don't remember the author's name. I think Sandberg, maybe, but a very good book. Yeah. But so let's stay there for a moment. So the clients. So one of them is one of the main things that you look at when you could tell the difference between one that's succeeding and one struggling is ownership and really taking things on and making things happen. Right. Let's talk about what you see as one of the biggest struggles right now that's happening in the franchise space, and how are some of your franchisees responding to it?
Yeah, I mean,
or is actually.
Yeah, we talk about this pretty often as far as like AI and how that's going to impact certain things. So there are I wouldn't say there's a ton of people that are all in, and it's on everybody's radar. That's for sure, right?
Yeah,
that's gonna shift a lot of things in a lot of different professions and things. So super important to think about that. The economy, right? People, I think certain people are like nervous about things that are going to happen. And this is not necessarily administration focused. Like this is going back, prior, and like things like, so it's always kind of, well, what are the tariffs going to do? Or what's inflation going to do? Or, right. Always kind of think about those types of things. I think, for me, it's, these are just things that are going to happen, right? These are, tariffs are tariffs, right? The economy's doing really well. I think it's going to be ultimately positive thing, but but just you have to deal with it as it comes, right? Maybe it's a little more expensive to build your equipment because of the tariffs, but people are going to have more, right? So there's always a way to figure out any issue that
problems create innovation, right? Like the thing that I always look at is, listen, no one likes problems. No one likes have to go through the struggle. But if you're really an entrepreneur, you're really someone that likes to learn and grow, what it does is it gets you to innovate. You say, okay, well, it didn't work that time. How do we get better? It didn't work that time. How do we get better? We use the cycle of success, which I've shared with you, the test, fail, learn, improve, re-enter, right? And we've even added with the improve, how can AI improve it? But I think when I think of entrepreneurs and I think of ones that are actually going to be successful, I can tell, to your point, Brian, I can tell the ones that are going to make it big and the ones that aren't. And really what it is the ones that are going to make it big is they've already made a decision that they're going to make it very big. And every problem that gets in their way, they're going to figure it out. They're going to figure it out. Like that's when you said, when you and Charles, right? When you guys had the 50% revenue, that was litigation. You're like, we're going to figure it out. And no matter what happens, we're going to get through. I don't know how we're going to get through. I don't know when it's going to happen, but we're going to get through. And you fast forward 13 years, 14 years, and you guys are rated number one, franchise law firm in America. So I think that's a big thing for leaders, is to really be very clear of what they want to accomplish in their life. Because what I found, and I'd love for you to speak into it, once you clearly define what you want to accomplish in your life, in your business, eventually it all figures out, because you keep everything you're doing is leading towards that. Everything is... It's like when you buy a car. You never saw that car on the road until you bought it. All of a sudden now you see that car everywhere. It's because you got focused on what you wanted and what you had in front of you. And I think business leaders need to do more about that. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
No, 100%, 1,000%, right? It's, call it the subconscious, call it, the muse that's whispering in your ear, whatever you want to call it, right? When you have that definite major purpose, right? Napoleon Hill stuff.
Yeah.
And your the burning desire to get it. So there's nothing really that can stop you. I mean, maybe can stop me, but I don't think.
Yeah, And it's fascinating because I remember, Brian, when we first started going into the school systems, right, with our leadership curriculum, and I was told by everyone, no, it's not going to work. You can't do it. I mean, I had people in the DOE saying it's never going to happen.
Right.
Fast forward thousands of kids later using it.
Yeah.
Moving it into different, God willing, moving into more states. But it's just because I knew that it needed to happen. I knew that kids needed to get leadership principles, stuff that actually was like mattered, right? That if they grab a hold of it, it'll make a difference in their life, not some of the junk that they're being given.
Right. And think about that ripple effect, right? You have thousands of kids in New York dealing with it, going to other states. But what are they going to teach their kids? And maybe programs are they going to, right? So it just started a chain reaction, which is amazing, right? So if you just never quit, you just keep going, you'll figure it out. Like that's kind of correlates with the grit, right? Like I'll just, you can try to stop me. I'm just going to keep going.
Yeah. Like you know that I'm showing up tomorrow and I'll keep showing up the day after, and it'll be 10 years from now and I'll keep showing up, and 100 years from now and maybe not.
Who knows?
Yeah, it's awesome. So we probably have about another 10 minutes or so. I want to talk about the importance of franchising for the right client, right? So for some people, they hear the word franchise, but I don't know if they necessarily know what that is. I'm sure they've heard the concept. Could you talk about what is franchising? How does that help someone when they really want to scale their business? And then maybe who is the right fit for franchise? Because it's not for everyone, right? Like, I remember reading a book on Chick-fil-A, and the founder, True Cathy, said when he was exploring the different avenues to grow, he's like, we really looked at all the different avenues, and we recognized that franchising wasn't for everyone. It worked well for our model, but it's not really for everyone. So can you kind of talk about that to our listeners? What is franchising? Who's a good fit for franchising, and how does that help scale or grow a model?
Yeah, absolutely. So franchising in a nutshell is just a way to legally scale your business, right? That's really all it is. There's a couple different options to do it. One would be, let's say, licensing. One would be, franchising. One would be like Starbucks is not a franchise, have like a management structure that's like tiered management throughout and there's a bunch of different tiers, right? So it's just one of the options that you have to grow your business, right?
Yeah.
So essentially what it is, and it's almost like a legal framework. And so it's all the legal based in the sense that the Federal Trade Commission governs it. And the federal government basically said in the 1970s, where people getting ripped off, they said, you can't sell a franchise unless you have what's called an FDD, right? Franchise disclosure document. At the time it was called the UFOC, for whatever the case is. So it's really just a legal framework of a way to scale your business, to allow someone else to use your trademark, to use your operations like standards, and to pay a fee to the franchisor, right? So it's just one of the options of duplicating your business.
Mm-hmm. And go ahead.
Yeah. So I was going to say the right business or the right person to that franchising fits well for, and is a good franchisor, really is someone who wants to expand their business, but doesn't want to have the headaches of trying to, like, that management structure, that Starbucks structure, where they have to go hire all the people and do all the things themselves. You're basically saying, here's my system in a packet, right? Here's the information. Here's all my recipes, or here's all my, the way we do things. You, franchisee, can go do this on your own. You hire your own people. You have skin in the game, but it's not going to be me who's going to be hiring your employees or dealing with that day-to-day stuff, right? So the person who wants to expand their business without dealing with the typical day-to-day business stuff that gets hard to deal with as you grow.
Yeah. And so when you look at a potential franchisor, right, and they're looking at franchising the business, as they grow, right, where is that period of time where someone who's listening says, hey, maybe I should consider franchising, right? Where is that period of time when that's happening? Like it doesn't have to necessarily mean revenue only. It could be revenue. It could be processes, methodologies. Like where do you see most of your clients say, hey, we built this little mom and pop store. It's really getting some traction. Kind of speak to that.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. A lot of the potential clients we speak with that are looking into franchising, they'll say things like, we keep getting people that are asking us, can I open one up myself? Things like that. So it's not necessarily a revenue thing. Most new franchisors don't have all the systems set up yet in the right way, right? So it's not like mandatory that you have to do that. So really, it's a matter of just getting to the point. A lot of times the franchisors that we speak with have a few locations, but that's not necessary either. But they'll say, listen, I opened up 3 locations. I kind of don't want to deal with the day-to-day, hiring people. I have a lot of people asking me, can I open up on my own? Right. And those are kind of the hints that you get where it may be a good time to look into it.
So it's pretty much a proof of concept that's been done, and whether it's at 1 location, 3 locations, and because it's a proof of concept that seems to really be working and people are liking it, great avenue for expansion. Yeah,
definitely one of the avenues, and definitely something to explore. Once you hit that point where you just say, I want to expand my business. Now, the one thing I tell people, right, there's the 2 hurdles that I always, speak about, as part of this process. One is money, right? It's to set up the franchising company. And not only just set it up, but have the right, have money in the bank to do it the right way, right? You don't want to just launch a franchise and it just dies. You wasted money, wasted time. So we want to do it the right way, right? So you need a certain amount of money to get that traction, get that flywheel going, right? And a lot of people kind of shortchange them the money that they have, or like that to invest and maybe do it prematurely. So that's one thing. The other thing is bandwidth. I think a lot of people underestimate the amount of direct bandwidth that you need to do this, right? So let's say if you had a taco stand, say I want to franchise this. A lot of people think about it like it's part of your taco business, right? It's just going to be, okay, I'm going to do this for a couple hours on the side and I'll grow the franchise. And the way we explain it is you need to have bandwidth as if this is a brand new business, because it is, right? You're not selling tacos, you're selling franchises. Totally separate business, even though tacos are part of both of them. So those are the 2 big hurdles. If you don't have enough money available, that you might not be the right time, or if you don't have the either for yourself or to hire someone else to focus on this, you're not going to do it the right way.
Well, I think what you said is, we all know about the capital one, but I think the second one that you said, Brian, was powerful because a lot of the times people are not looking at it as a separate business because they're like, oh, I built this company and now it's just a piece, it's a piece of that company. It's really a whole separate entity. It's a whole separate strategy. It's a whole separate XYZ. And they really have to look at it through that lens.
Yeah. Totally different universe. Right, you're not going to the restaurant. You can still go to the restaurant conferences, but you're going to the franchise conferences. You're talking to franchise consultants and brokers, and right, it's a whole separate universe. And I've seen people get hurt not understanding that before they dive in. So we always explain that in advance, right? Just make sure you have, and it may not be you. Maybe you're not the right person. The person operating the restaurants, but you have someone that's going to be able to focus on it. It's key. And really what you want to do in the first couple of years is set that foundation. And it takes a lot of work to do that, right? So it's not an easy thing.
Yeah, that's good. Hey, last couple of minutes, any parting thoughts that you want to share with our listeners? And then lastly, how can they get in touch with you if they said, hey, listen, franchising is something that I'm interested in doing? How do they get in touch with you?
So as far as, last words, really, I think it's one of the best things to do is educate yourself, right? Before you do anything. So we have a great YouTube channel, the Internicola Law Firm YouTube channel. That's where to start. There's a couple hundred videos. My partner Charles does a great job, and Melissa on our team of putting those together. So really, it's going to answer any questions that you have. All those videos, and so it's with some conversations with successful franchisors.
That's good.
So really good. Really, there's nuggets in there. So that would be the first thing I always. And when I speak with people, that are interested, that's the first place I send them. Right, if they're educate yourself first, understand it, then come back to me, and so that's the YouTube channel, the Internicola Law Firm. If you type that search, you'll be able to find it. Another thing that gets neglected a little bit is trademarks. Right, a big thing in franchising is having the trademark. So you take a local business and you're expanding it nationwide. A lot of times, our clients file the trademarks too late. So even if you're considering it and not 100% sure, it's a great thing to have anyway. I had this conversation with one of our clients yesterday. He said, "I wish you were lawyers initially because I filed my trademark too late." Now he's dealing with a bunch of competitive, people with a similar name, and it became a problem. Whereas if you
recommended that to us years back, probably 3 years ago, and we trademarked Lions Pride Leadership because of you. So appreciate that. And we weren't ready to see the franchise yet, but we knew that would one day be the next step.
Yeah, even if you're not franchising, the trademark for the price, or what it's going to cost the $1,000, $2,000.
Yeah,
it gives so much protection and value in your brand. Like to me, it's mandatory. Unless you have a generic name of some sort, like Hot Bagels, or like that can't be trademarked. And you may want to transition into something else that could be trademarked, because that's how important it is. So if you're on the fence, so even if you're not on the fence, file the trademarks early, as soon as possible, because that's going to start the time your protection starts. Right, the sooner you file, the sooner the protection starts. So those will probably be the two things. Watch YouTube and file your trademarks.
Yeah, Brian, that's good advice. I appreciate you, my friend.
Yeah, no, I appreciate everything you guys do. And continue to do, for the community, for your clients, and for us. So I appreciate it.
Yeah. We appreciate you. Well, I just want to thank our listeners for listening to the Leadership Table podcast. We say here that the Leadership Table podcast is where mature leaders have mature conversations. And that's what Brian and I just had today. We just had a mature conversation around leadership, franchising, and the impact it can make on your business. Brian, thank you, my friend. Please send our love to Charles. We appreciate you guys. We love what you're doing, and congrats on the huge recognition. That's amazing. We really celebrating you guys, and it's amazing to see what you continue to do.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're listening to the Leadership Table. I am so excited that you've joined us. Hey, listen, you want to join us in future episodes where we're going to invite some of our greatest friends, some of the greatest leaders we know, to share all about their leadership journeys and just add tremendous value to you and your teams. Hey, listen, drop a comment below on your biggest takeaway, that what is impacting you the most. Like it. Share it with those people that you know need to hear this message, and subscribe. And hey, listen, turn on the notifications. I just want to thank you, because you are making a difference. As you help us, we help you, and we just divide the work and multiply the impact. My friend, thank you for joining us on the Leadership Table.